So, John, we spent a lot of time talking about the opportunities that a bear market gives us.
Yep.
Now, here's yet another one. All right, just a real quick tidbit here. Some people that meet me after they've gotten to know me online, then they develop a relationship with me. They'll say, well, Devin, one thing I know about you, you don't like annuities. And that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
I think annuities can have their place. It's just not that frequent that they have their place. And it's certainly not near the frequency that some of these annuity slingers, as we call them, like to put people into annuities. I just don't think that they are the right fit for the majority of people.
Oh, yeah. No, in my practice as an elder law attorney, the annuity scam is rampant.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. A lot of people love to use that to get you into a trust or something like that.
Lots of bad stuff out
But then it's just a big commission that pays those. I don't want to go into annuities today.
Right.
We do need to devote one whole video just to annuities.
Yeah, and we will.
Because there's some garbage there. But let's talk about the opportunity that we have. We've talked about the tax losses. That has to do with taxes, obviously, as the name suggests. We've talked about Roth conversions. That has to do with taxes as well. And they both have something in common, and that's a depressed account value.
Right.
That we've had from this bear market. Same thing with annuities. So let's go back and talk about why this may be a good idea. John, if I have $200,000 to invest and I put $100,000 into an annuity and I put the other $100,000 into, I don't know, Walmart stock, mutual funds, it doesn't matter, right? And then they both grow at the same rate. Miracles happen.
Right.
So it grows and now I die. And I leave you, John Ross, as the beneficiary of my $200,000, right? At this point, though, it's worth $400,000 because each of those have grown from $100,000 to $200,000. They've each experienced $100,000 worth of growth.
Yep.
You inherit those, and you're like, nope, don't want any of these. I'm going to get rid of them. Let's talk about the tax consequences and how they are different.
Yeah, because ordinarily there's actually a tax benefit to dying. In the tax world, we refer to this as the step-up in basis, or the step-up in basis that occurs at the date of death. Basically, if I buy something, that's my basis, and then it gets more valuable over time. And if I were to sell it while I'm alive, I have to pay capital gains tax on the difference between what I paid for it, my basis, and what I sell it for, the fair market value. But if I hold on to that asset until I die, and then I pass that asset on, so like in your example, this Walmart stock that was worth $100,000 and now it's worth $200,000, and you've died and left that to me. Because you held on to it to the date of your death, I am going to get a stepped up basis. It's as if, for tax purposes, it's as if I paid whatever the fair market value was on the date of death. If that was $200,000, then it's like I paid $200,000, even though I didn't. I just inherited it. If I turned around and immediately sold it for $200,000, well, then sales price minus my new basis is zero.
Yeah.
So that Walmart stock came to me and I was able to turn around and sell it basically tax-free. Heck of a deal.
Absolutely is.
Absolutely heck of a deal right there. Now, let's compare that to the annuity, though.
Not near the deal that you get.
No, because now this same asset that started out as 100 and is theoretically worth 200. Well, all of that built up gain in the annuity, when you die and I get this 200,000, I am going to have to pay tax on that built-in gain.
Yeah.
And not capital gain tax.
Absolutely.
Ordinary income.
Yeah.
So if I were to cash that annuity out on the day you died, it would be no different than if I went out and got me a job that in 1 hour paid me $100,000.
Right. Yep.
You're going to add that on top of all of my other taxable income. And at that rate, if we're talking these kind of numbers, that's probably even enough to push me up into a different bracket. So not only is that going to get taxed, but it's potentially going to get taxed at the higher tax rate because it was enough to throw me up into the next bracket.
For sure. So you have two assets, identical values, hypothetically.
Right. They started out at one.
Right.
They increased to another, and they both passed at death. One in a great tax way, one as a nightmare.
Yeah. So in this environment, for those individuals, especially with the variable annuities. Let's face it, back 2008, 2009, the annuity industry was experiencing record sales. I mean, to the extent where they had promises put on their stuff and sales were so great that they would start shutting down the amount of new money they were taking in. They were like, wait a minute. All right, as effective June 1, we are no longer taking deposits because they had so much money coming in that it was blowing up their system. So we have all of these record sales that have happened in annuities. And so now here we are 10-ish years later, and people are out of their surrender charges, hopefully. And now you've got this annuity that's probably grown some, not as much as it would have if it was in a decent portfolio, but it's grown some. And maybe now you know that annuities maybe not are the best thing to have invested in because they have high expenses and all of these other reasons that we'll get into in another video.
Right.
But now you're looking at it going, is this a good time to get out? I mean, the value's down. It certainly has fallen with the market. Well, this could present the opportunity to get out. I tell people all the time, this is going into the fee discussion here. John, if you have an investment that's charging you 0.05% in fees and one that's charging you 4% in fees, that is going to act like a drag it's going to act like a drag going up and an accelerator going down.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have happening right now with a lot of these annuities with these high fees. The market's dropping and the annuities are dropping even more because the expenses are higher. So this could give you the opportunity to get some of that money out of that annuity when it makes sense. It's not going to make sense for everyone, but there's a whole lot of them out there right now that no longer have a surrender charge. The performance has been mediocre. And now with the down market, it's time to bail.
That's right. It's still going to be income to you on whatever gain is in there, if you cash that annuity out. But yeah, you're talking about being able to cash it out at that lower amount. And, watch our other video about tax harvesting, because there may be some additional losses that you have out there, some stocks that need to be, you need to get rid of and harvest some losses out there that you could turn around and use to offset some of those expenses.
Yeah.
So yeah, certainly take a look at that.
Absolutely. Well, this is the time, lots of opportunity in markets like these, even though we mostly view it as a negative. The market's falling, portfolio values are falling. But, we probably need to do a recap video where we talk about all the opportunity that is in a market like this. I think, this could be a fantastic time to do lots of harvesting.